Many researchers believe that the cause of this plague is stress, environmental toxins, and poor health habits. However, few of these researchers point to an intentional effort to cause widespread infertility. Once again, let us consider these words from the infamous Bertrand Russell. A totalitarian government with a scientific bent, meaning the inclination to use science in its rule, might do things that to us would seem horrifying. The system, one may surmise, will be something like this, except for possibly in the governing aristocracy. All but 5% of males and 30% of females will be sterilized. The 30% of females will be expected to spend the years from 18 to 40 in reproduction in order to secure adequate cannon fodder. As a rule, artificial insemination will be preferred to the natural method, just meaning sexual intercourse. Now let us consider several points related to Bertrand Russell's advice to the aristocratic families of the Synagogue of Satan. Well, he makes it clear that a totalitarian government is also an aristocratic government. Now, signs of a totalitarian government include the presence of epidemics and pandemics affecting the citizens of a nation, showing that everyone in the nation is treated the same and is under the same oppression, suppression, and the same influence. Well, vaccination is a one-size-fits-all, with federal and state laws that impose it nearly on all citizens. Well, I can say they do impose it. They may not handcuff you yet. They're doing that someplace else. In other places, sparingly, but you have a difficult accessing education for your child unless you're vaccinated. Well, this is totalitarian. So what does this mean? It means that our right to vote does not prove that we live in a democracy. We don't. And this is substantiated in the term cannon fodder. Well, cannon fodder is an informal term for military personnel who are regarded or treated as expendable in the face of enemy fire. The term is generally used in situations where soldiers are forced to deliberately fight against hopeless odds in an effort to achieve a strategic goal. Well, we're subjects and our lives are expendable in the eyes and in the scheme of the Synagogue of Satan. Now, the preference for artificial insemination shows that the aim is to prevent the formation of families among those deemed as cannon fodder. So the Synagogue of Satan, following the pattern of Yaqub, really did not want to develop strong families. And we don't have strong families today when you look at the stats of domestic abuse and everything else that's gone along with generational gaps. Again, who's responsible for this? It's the one who rules over this government. Now, how pervasive is infertility in the use of artificial insemination? Now, Bertrand Russell's book was written in 1953, at the start of this technological revolution. During that time, we just saw the transition of midwives being berated and cast aside, and most births taking place in hospitals, because it was necessary to capture the way that women bring children into the world. They wanted their hands all in it. Well, decades later, what is the stats of infertility and artificial insemination? Well, according to one stat, 1 out of every 8 couples experiences infertility. I think that's pretty substantial. And we'll consider this from a recent article. The fertility clinics industry in the United States is booming. The number of assisted reproductive technology cycles, ART, performed by U.S. fertility clinics has been growing strongly since 2014, estimated to total a record 333,600,000 in vitro fertilization, meaning outside of the womb, procedures this year. And demand is growing from the ranks of 7+ million infertile or infertile American women. However, the price of the IVF cycles, $12,400 each cycle, sometimes requiring multiple cycles, plus fertility drugs, exams and diagnostic tests, deters many. I guess it would if you got to pay that much money to see if you can bear a child. The total price tag can top $50,000 or more dollars. Key facts about the fertility clinics industry. This is from the article. Now it's an industry. And industry means profit driven. Market data estimates that the U.S. fertility services market will reach $5.87 billion this year, up from 21% from 2016, and forecasts a 7% average annual growth through 2023 to $7.93 billion. The market is comprised of about 500 fertility clinics, 100 plus sperm donor banks, the egg donors market, fertility drugs, and 1,700 reproductive endocrinologists. I guess it is an industry. The egg donor frozen eggs market is growing strongly, estimated to be worth $182 million this year. Now, do injections or vaccines have a role in the epidemic of infertility as it does in the epidemic of cancer?